I want good pictures, I want good data, because I only get one shot during the summer. We had something very exciting happen this week. Our big seed order came in. Now, that started me thinking. I see a lot of videos on TV about different sources for seeds, and I've been using pretty much the same sources for seeds for 20 years, maybe more. I honestly was trying to think about when the first time was that I ordered seeds online, and I have no idea. I know that by the time I'd been married for 15 years, I was definitely ordering seeds online. But I probably ordered some seeds online before then. I just don't remember. So I started thinking about why I choose certain companies over other ones. And number one on the list would probably be non-GMO. But then I actually went through all the catalogs that I could find in my own house, and also a lot of the ones that I see recommended online. And I did not find a single seed catalog that didn't say that they carried only non-GMO seeds. So whereas this might have been a big deal, say in the 70s or the 60s, it's really pretty much the standard for most seed companies that are catering to home gardeners and even small truck farms. So while I think it's important, and I certainly do look before I buy, I think that most of the every seed catalog that I've got here on the table is from a company that guarantees non-GMO products. So that's less of an issue than it used to be. Not personally in the sense of choosing non-GMO, but in terms of finding it, it's super easy now. Big guys like Burpee, non-GMO. Mid-size Gurneys, Shumway, Johnny's, Totally Tomatoes, they all guarantee non-GMO. So what do I look for after that? I prefer to do business when I can with family or employee-owned companies. Now, family-owned is pretty obvious. Mom or pop or grandma or grandpa founds a company and it goes on. But what's an employee-owned company? And who is it? Well, Johnny's, which is my main seed company now, is employee-owned. That means that every employee who works there owns a piece of that company. So they're vested in it. Their job is to do a good job so that they can make more money, so that they can see it as a company. The same way as if it was a family-owned company, maybe even more, because we all know that, that second cousin 3 times removed who winds up working for a family company and probably shouldn't even be sweeping the floor. But at any rate, we have companies like this. Now, I'm not affiliated with any company. I don't get kickbacks, I don't get free seeds, I don't get free shipping, I don't get free anything. But I like people to know about companies that I'm comfortable with. So where do I get most of my seeds? Johnny's is my #1 source. When I want something exotic that they don't have, Totally Tomatoes. After that, it's an assortment. And what I recommend that people do is actually look at where they live in the United States and who is catering to people who live in that part of the United States. So for instance, these 4 catalogs here are all from seed providers, plus Johnny's, are all from seed providers that are in New England. This one is Connecticut, this one is Vermont, this one is Calais, Maine, okay, that's way up north, and this one is New Gloucester, Maine, and of course Johnny's is from Winslow, Maine. If you choose seeds that are designed to grow in the area that you live in, your chance of success improves almost instantly. Those seeds have been grown, in some cases, for over a century in the area where you live. They have survived the bad weather, the good weather, and everything in between. Somebody on YouTube the other day was mentioning that they use territorial because they live in the Pacific Northwest and it works really well for them. And I think it's important for all of us to tune into that sort of thing. If you want to grow something exotic, that's fine. We're going to be trying some more exotic plants this year than we have in the past. We've grown an assortment of Asian vegetables before. I've always enjoyed eating some of the long beans. We're going to try growing some this year. One of the reasons we decided to try it was because they came highly recommended as being incredibly heat tolerant. Well, our summers here are usually warm, but in the past 5 years they've become beyond warm all the way to pretty miserable. Global warming, cycles in the weather, I don't know. But the fact is we still have to deal with it, and obviously even if we had all the electricity and money in the world, we couldn't air condition the garden. So it's important to choose plants that you think will work. And that brings me to another point. One of the most important things when I go to choose seeds is a company that provides really good planting and growing instructions. Burpee has a pretty good online system, in fact an exceptional online system. I haven't checked out some of the smaller growers, but most of them do. Johnny's has an exceptional online system. Whether you're a truck farmer or somebody with a patio, they have ways to compare all your seeds in terms of the number of days it takes, what kind of productivity you get, what the flavor of the bean or the vegetable in general is, and weird things like this year I'm going to experiment with some pak choi. I'm reading through, I think they had 4 or 5 different varieties, and it clearly states when you go through all the horticultural information that some of these varieties, if the temperature drops below 50 degrees at night after they've been within the first 2 weeks after being transplanted, they will bolt. Well, that's super important to know. You know, it doesn't matter how heat tolerant they are if they're going to bolt because it got too cold at night. And one of the problems that we have here is because we're high altitude, we frequently will have cold nights until solidly into the end of May. So if I'm going to plant those outside, I need to be aware that I probably have to have row covers on and maybe even a plastic low tunnel, not just a regular row cover, but actually something with a little bit more oomph to it, in order to be able to keep that from getting too cold at night and bolting. If I spend all the time to grow seedlings and buy the seeds and everything else, it's a total waste if I screw up and get caught in something like that. So the companies that provide free, usually online, information, these seed catalogs don't cost me a dime. They just come in the mail every year. In fact, I frequently get way more than, you know, as they come in, I sort out the previous years. And some of these are last year's because the new ones haven't come in yet this year. That's a big mistake on the part of some of these companies because they just missed me. Johnny sends their catalogs out in December or January. That's when I want to see my catalogs come in. And some of these companies are sending them out a little too late. They're sending them out for the late people who didn't get around to it, which is okay, but that's not me. I have to adjust my planting schedule for my business schedule. And during certain times of the summer, I can't be here. That means planting has to be done before or after that. So I need all the information I can get in order to choose the correct seeds and the correct timing for my seeds. So when you're looking for a seed company, I suggest you really think about these things. How good are they at customer service? When I was on the other day placing an order at Johnny's, a little chat box popped up with a question of, did I have any questions for anybody at Johnny's? And I was like, actually I do. And I typed in, yes, I do have a question. And a real person came on the other end and answered some questions for me. How cool is that? Could I have called them? Yeah, but there I was working on an order, deciding exactly what I was going to buy, and I got the answer I needed right then and there. Very helpful. More than very helpful. Even if you don't decide to buy from Johnny's, I really suggest that you go to their website. It's just johnnyseeds.com, and I'll put a link to everything I've got here, plus probably one or two other ones that I consider to be pretty cool in terms of sources. There's an Oriental seed company that I haven't tried yet that I am fascinated with. It's been in the United States for over 100 years now, run by a Japanese family. Originally started in the San Francisco Bay Area to cater to the large Oriental population there. Obviously shut down and incarcerated during World War II in the internment camps, but started their business back up after the war, and they've been going strong ever since. They now ship all over the United States and probably all over the world. But they have an amazing collection of vegetables, some of which I never heard of, not even in any of my fairly picky cookbooks. So I may not try them this year, but next year. Most of these, however, I have tried, and I'll give a list of the ones I've tried and the ones I haven't tried that are regional, and I'm sure there's lots more. For instance, when we were down at the Desert Botanical Garden in Phoenix the other day, they sell flower seeds there from a little company called Native Seed Company down in Tucson, and they sell wildflower seeds. So I picked up one of the native wildflower seeds that I'm interested in growing. These are from Arizona, so it seemed like a good idea. Now, our climate's very different than it is down there, but I happen to know this is a gaillardia, and gaillardias are pretty tough, so they'll probably be fine. I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on seed companies and give you my criteria for choosing them. I hope this helps you when you're choosing your own seed company. If a company won't tell you the details you need, what temperature the soil should be, what temperature the air temperature should be, how long it takes when you are getting ready to grow a plant, maybe you should consider another one. I find some companies to be just too darn difficult. I want good pictures, I want good data, because I only get one shot during the summer to grow a lot of these things. So I want it to be the best chance I could possibly have for success. And I hope this helps you succeed too. Have a great summer.